Volume 1, Chapter 5. Going on, last week we spoke about some different ideas, and now I want to talk about some real practical ideas of energy. Number one, let's talk about stress. What does stress do to the body? Well, in primitive times, when our energy got engaged in a stressful situation, it was permissible to run very fast away from that which stressed us out, or to kill it. It was real simple. You didn't have to stuff it, if you will. You just dealt with it. So there were upsides to this and downsides to this. Thousands of years ago, people didn't live past 20 to 40, 20 to 30. I think in the beginning of the 1900s, the average age expanded from 40 to 81. At the end of the last century, in the year 1999, 2000, the average American was living until 81. The previous century was 40. Now, the averages come, some people did live older, but the averages come from how people died. Diseases, thousands of years ago, animals, other tribes, etc. Stress. So now we live longer and our life is filled with more aches and pains, and there's more time-dependent diseases that get people, like Alzheimer's and cancer, etc. A lot of times before a village would be struck by a virus and everybody in the village would die. I think it was the flu of 1911 that took a lot of people that way. But that's a whole other topic. In Chinese medicine, that's called an invasion of qi from an outside source, an exogenous qi, which we now know of viruses and bacteria. But let's go back to stress. When we are not feeling stressed and you get a night's sleep, you rest at night, your body recovers and repairs all your cells. Okay? If you're not getting a full night's sleep because you're stressed out, while you're sleeping, the organism stays engaged, the muscles are tight. Why is that? Well, what are muscles used for? They're used to contract. Well, a fist is used to punch, claw, our survival mechanism, and we now know in medicine that that's called the fight or flight response. And historically, at one point in time, that was only engaged with a real danger. There was a tiger in front of you. Your fight or flight response engaged. You either ran away from the tiger, tried to kill the tiger, or the tiger killed you. It was one or the other. If it was another tribesman, you went back to you either killed the other tribesman, I mean, we're talking about primitive people, or you grabbed your stuff in your cave and your family and moved to another place. Now you really can't do that. If you have a dispute with your neighbor, oh my God, you got to first of all, you can't say anything. You got to be politically correct. So you're stuffing it, you're getting tense. Okay, and then if you put your house on the market, it could take 3 to 6 months before you sell it, and there's paperwork. Modern life, the point is, modern life is, they didn't have cave realtors back then. You could just pick up and leave. Modern life has a lot of stresses in it, and as a result, there's a lot of tensions in our body because of that. And it is up to the owner of the body to address how that affects you individually. Some people it affects more than others. For whatever reason. It could be for social, cultural, behavioral, or genetic ways that we deal with different stresses. But the point of the matter is that stress affects all of us, and it affects ourselves. So if I was sitting in my cave, getting back to that primitive example, and eating food, and a bear ran in the cave, bear instead of tiger, my body would shut down digestion, because digestion is secondary to survival, and would motivate my body to protect itself or run away. It was automatic and instinct. If the bear got up, I almost said Care Bears. If the bear got up and ran out of the cave, my body would sit back down, danger's over, and I could go back to eating. So the switch for ready for danger, fight or flight, and the switch off was better at one point in history. Now, if a bear ran in our cave, not only would we get all stressed out, we would talk about it. Can you believe it? There's a bear in my house. I can't believe it. You know, little things trigger people off. So we have a finer switch, if you will, that triggers off our fight or flight response, which is why we're seeing a lot of rise of diseases in our world. Hence the reason I'm doing these videos, because if somebody can take one idea, you don't have to believe anything I say. If you just take one idea and see if it's practical for you in the world, you'll start to see that you're actually a creature of energy, and you're affected by the world and you react to the world, and the only control that you have over is what's going on inside of you. You can't stop that neighbor from doing something, having a concert late at night. You can't stop the neighbor's dog from barking. You can't stop stuff that goes on at work. You can't make certain mail come to your house that you need to. You just can't. So all that stress, you have to resolve that inside yourself. The beauty, and I'm very involved in Tai Chi, and we'll talk about that in another little video here. But the whole nature of Tai Chi is to reconcile those stresses in your body. So your yin and yang, okay, the positive and negative, can become in balance. It doesn't mean you won't have negative emotions, you won't feel stress, but it won't be long-lived for 2, 3 months, weeks at a time. It'll just be, oh, I feel extremely negative. Oh, okay, that was that. Yeah, I felt negative yesterday. But it's not taking your organism for a ride, if you will, because that ride is going to result in less and less health for you. Okay, and that's today's anatomy of Qi. Please tell your friends. Let's get it out there. Speak to you soon.